Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Michelle is my name. If it's your first time here, hi, and welcome again. So, by the title of this video, you already know that this video is about my skin. What made me do this is I was talking about the journey of my skin, or I started to talk about the journey with my skin on Instagram, and so that's what led to this. I got a ton of DMs, people asking me different questions and people actually requesting that I do a video. And so I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let me tell you guys a story about how it all went down, because it was quite a story. Anyway, so back in 2000 and I want to say it's 2014, before everything went left, I basically had a wedding and I was planning on going to this wedding, and I had seen someone wear this weave, not wig. They had this weave on their head, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I could do this weave for the wedding that I have. Okay. So I went and got it done on my hair, and it looked really great. And it was great for the wedding. It was, it looked exactly what I wanted it to look like. Fast forward to like a week after having the weave on my head, I started to notice that I had a rash, like right where the weave stopped. And I was like, okay, sometimes you get allergic to hair because you never know what kind of chemicals they put in them. You never know what kind of plastic that is. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll just take it off and we'll move on. So I did. I removed it. And after 1 week, remember, I've not had it for too long, but the rash did not go away. So for a while, I would feel itchy just around this area, like right there. I'd still get itchy. I would still feel that the rash was still progressing. Instead of actually going away, it was still increasing, and the small little bumps were more. So I decided, you know what, let me just go to a dermatologist and explain the whole story and tell her what happened and ask what I could do. And so that's what I did. I went to this lady and she gave me a cream. Okay, so this is where I think it went left. I don't know if the cream had something that I was allergic to, or it's like a hormonal thing that was in the ingredient of the cream that started to make the bumps look like they were cysts, like it was like cystic acne. Like they had a white stuff, like whiteheads, but should I even say whiteheads? It looked like it had pus inside. And instead of being itchy, now they were started to get painful. They were tender. Like if I touch, it would be a bit more sensitive. So obviously I went back and I was like, okay, so this is not working. And I think she gave me something else before now I moved to a different dermatologist. So this was 2014, maybe towards the end, like from September, this is happening all the way to December, it wasn't as bad. So one of the dermatologists gave me what I believe was retinol at the time, and it was very harsh because my skin would peel, and I would put makeup on, but you could kind of see that I had like dry patches, and also I was required to use sunscreen the whole time. And I think because then I wasn't as skincare conscious, I would skip sunscreen sometimes, but the retinol that I was using was so strong that I needed, or the vitamin A that I was using was so strong that I needed to use sunscreen. So what ended up happening is so move on to 2015, I moved to Dubai. And after the medication that I had, okay, so hold on. I'm getting way ahead of myself. So the medication that I was given with the second dermatologist ended up working. But the only thing it used to do was what I told you, peeling of my skin and dryness and all of those things. So I felt that everything was under control and it was good. So I moved to Dubai And I kind of stopped using the medication because, the skin is fine. So, we're good. In mid, I think it was mid 2015, yo, my skin, and I will put pictures here because you need to see what it looked like. Around August, my skin completely went bizarre. Like, I don't even know what happened. It just changed, completely went crazy, and I was breaking out everywhere. So everywhere from my hairline all the way to my jawline had these small bumps that were tender, painful, and some of them had, like I said, it looked like cystic acne. Disgusting, I must say, because that was a really low point of my life. I was not ready for that. And I think having had really good skin all my life, I don't think I was ready for this. I never expected anything like this to happen to me. I had just moved to Emirates, so I had probably been in Emirates for like 2 months. So you can imagine, here you are moving to an airline where not everyone looks like you. So already there was kind of like just the feeling of not being so confident, a lot of self-doubt. And then, that came with a lot of things, racism and just colorism and all of these things. And then now here you are with skin that has completely broken out and you just look, I felt that I looked extremely unattractive. I felt, I'm even like, I'm choking up. I felt like I was looking extremely unattractive. I felt I was extremely, I was hideous. I felt afraid. I felt I looked, I don't know, disgusting. And I'm sorry to say that about myself. And this is not to say that if you have acne, you look disgusting. This is just how I felt. And it was bad. And obviously, it wasn't necessarily true, but nobody wants to look unattractive. Nobody wants to have all these things going on with their skin. And one time, someone just made a comment and said, what do you eat? Or what do you apply to your face? Something like that. You know how people go, do you eat margarine? Do you eat fries a lot? Do you eat like oily foods? And I was like, no, that's not it. Like, my skin just started to act up on its own. So finally, I went to this dermatologist in Dubai, and the first thing that this guy said to me is, I don't understand why your skin looks like this, because Kenyans typically have really good skin. I was surprised that he said that. He said, I know Kenyans have flawless skin, like most of the time. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, Kenyans have this. So anyway, he said, but don't worry, we're going to fix it. There's nothing that we're not able to fix, but I'm going to put you on a treatment that is very strict, and that is going to need you to come in every month to do a blood test. Okay. So the treatment that he put me on was called Accutane. Accutane is, I think you can have like a round of 3 months and a round of 6 months. He said, we want to be safe. We want to finish this thing completely. So we're going to do 6 months. Before we took that, he asked me, do you want to get pregnant? Are you planning on getting pregnant in the next 6 months? Actually, I think he said longer, maybe 8 months, because he said you need to have like a buffer period where this drug actually clears off of your system. So do you want to get pregnant in the next, I think it was 8 months, I'm not sure. He asked me how my mental health was. So apparently this drug can make you suicidal. Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. And every day, I remember every day I kept checking, like, are you okay? Are you feeling low? Are you feeling depressed? Just out of nowhere. So he said you need to basically be very aware of how you feel, because this could make you suicidal. He also said that I needed to check my blood and my urine every month to see if it did something to my liver, to see if I developed jaundice, I think, in my eyes. I think so. Basically, it was very intense. And then he told me that it would basically dry me out. And I mean, dry me out everywhere. My face was dry. My lips were extremely dry. My skin was dry. So I remember that the doctor prescribed me with this moisturizer that was for extremely dry skin. It was Cetaphil. I'll never forget the brand name was Cetaphil. And it was for extremely dry skin. And I remember thinking, no, this is not going to work because I have combination skin and my tea is oily most of the time. And I kept thinking, with flying, this is definitely going to mess up my makeup. But let me tell you, I needed that moisturizer. I would slather it on. I would put on so much because imagine this, your skin is extremely dry because of the Accutane, coupled by just the dry cabin air. My skin would be so dry. I remember there's a time I actually bought this. There was like a rose water spray from Caudalie, and I would use one I want to say every 3 weeks. I'd have to buy another one because I would wake up from the CRC and I would, especially on those long haul flights, I would wake up from the CRC. CRC is the bunk where we sleep. I would wake up from there and I would just spray that thing on my face like there's no tomorrow. Like I needed that. And I got to a point where I could not buy that anymore. I just used to put just water in a spray bottle and I would again just slather my skin and extremely, I don't know what's the word, drench my skin with that because it was super dry. So basically, one of the main side effects is that it dries you. It really does. And then obviously, the other things that I spoke about, which is how it makes you suicidal. And then, what was the other thing? Yeah, jaundice and, just you need to check your blood. So it was really extreme. And my lips would be super chapped, like chapped to the extreme. I mean, chapped to the point that, how do I explain? They would crack so bad. I would have to I would put a thick, when I say thick, I actually mean thick. I would put a thick layer of shea butter on my lips at night before I slept. And right before I do my lipstick, I would exfoliate because my lipstick was already matte. And then I would do the thick layer and then the lipstick. And I even bought, I remember I even bought this lip primer because I just needed for it to look even because of how bumpy the lips looked. And then I also had to redo my lipstick on a long flight, maybe every 3 hours because of how dry it was. So take it off, moisturize, and then redo again. Y'all, it was a journey, okay? It was a journey. When I tell you it was a journey, it was a journey. But was it worth it? Absolutely. In 2 weeks, my skin looked like that of a child, okay? I was poreless. I'm the kind of person who gets pores around this area. Sometimes it's very textured more than, usual. But generally, I will kind of have some type of texture in that area. It was poreless. I remember one time this guy made a comment and he said, how does your makeup look the same as it did when you started the flight? It looks exactly the same. And I have not seen you touch up once. Not one time. And my makeup would look exactly the same. So after the 2 weeks, when my skin normalized and became, not normalized, but when it became what it was, poreless, dry, and everything in between, for those 6 months, I enjoyed makeup that would last all the way till the time that I took it off. From the time that I wore it, and I'm not, like you guys, I'm not exaggerating. This is how it was. From the time that I started to wear the makeup all the way till I took it off, it looked exactly the same. There was no cracking because there was no oil. It wasn't shiny, so I didn't need to touch it up. Nothing. I didn't need to put anything on except just the water that just spraying the water or whatever it was that I was spraying on my skin. That's all I needed. Like, there was nothing else that I had to do. And ooh, that was the best time that I had with makeup. And I think in that season is when I started to fall in love with makeup, because it would look so flawless. And I was like, oh, I need to try this. And it looks so good. Oh my goodness, I need to do this. I need to do that. And that's kind of where my love for makeup was birthed, because my skin looked good. And then the other thing that I noticed is that I started to look darker just around my face. So the foundations that I had no longer matched my face. They would match my neck, but typically I don't love to take foundation all the way here, especially because in Emirates our blouses were white, and I would wear, every time I'd wear the blouse, I would kind of, find the makeup. So I would try to avoid doing makeup all the way there. But now my foundations all of a sudden didn't match my neck, and I had to get others that kind of match my face and my neck and in between. But my face got darker, and I would, as I went back, this was like after 3 months or 2.5 months, I want to say 2.5 months. So every time I would go back to the dermatologist, I'd be like, okay, so now we're dealing with this. My skin has all of a sudden gotten darker and just on my face. And I would feel so conscious because now anytime I would want to not wear makeup, my face looked significantly darker than my neck or my chest. But so he gave me some things and I started to apply. And this was basically something that was supposed to even my skin tone, but I don't think it really worked. I think eventually when the Accutane was starting to fade off after the 6 months, my skin just naturally went back to what it was. But it was a journey. So I was happy, but then I was sad when this happened, but I was grateful. I was like, this is a price so small to pay for what I got. Needless to say, my skin up until today has not reverted to having acne or whatever that was. I don't know if it was melia. I know for sure that I had melia, but I don't know if that's what it was, or was it like cystic acne. I don't remember what the doctor said, but my skin has never overreacted or reacted like that ever again. It's been good. It was totally worth it. So, I think I just wanted to share because I have seen so many people struggle with acne. And just from speaking about what I know in Kenya, which is the country that I'm from, I don't know if the dermatologists necessarily suggest or recommend for people to use Accutane, because the 2 different dermatologists that I visited, none of them ever mentioned Accutane. So I didn't know that that was an option. But if I did, I would tell you that that's what I would have taken straight away. The only thing is that you have to, deal with all of these side effects. And obviously, I had to literally set a reminder so that I can take it morning and evening, like on time. Those were the things that I knew that I had to do. But other than that, everything else was good. Honestly, like everything else was definitely way worth it. I know people buy Accutane on Amazon as well, but I would definitely not advise you to do that because you need to see a dermatologist. You need to have your blood tests done. You need to talk to someone to tell you all of the risks and everything that pertains to you, because everyone's blood test shows kind of different things that the doctor needs to look out for. So you might be susceptible to something that I wasn't susceptible to. So I wouldn't advise you to sit and say, okay, if she did this and this is all she was looking for, then I can do it. I would definitely recommend that you go to a doctor and you have your own thing, kind of, have your own instructions on what to do. But it is definitely worth it. I think also just by virtue of there being so many fake medications and all of these things on Amazon, you just never know if you get it from a good supplier or from someone who is actually legit. So, yeah. If you have any more questions, I think you can ask me in my comments. Yeah, any specific questions that maybe I did not mention in this video. Because I tried, as I told my story, I tried to answer all of the questions that were on Instagram. If you want anything specific, I have a video, which I will, tag in this one, where I talked about skincare, like in depth, like what to do, what to use, step by step, in terms of how you apply your toner and everything. So I will link it in this video if you want to watch it. And yeah, for now, I think that is all. I will see you guys on my next one. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you will. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy the kind of content that I put out. And I really hope that you do consider subscribing to this video. And I'll see you guys on my next one. Okay? Goodbye. God bless you.